I'm Brent Lorimor. We live in Farragut, Iowa, and we construct this cattle building. Well, we put the first cattle in last December. I'm the fifth generation in this immediate area and the third generation on this farm. My great-great-grandfather homesteaded on a nearby farm in 1856, and our family has farmed this Walnut Creek area for over 150 years. I guess our decision to build a building was probably mostly performance-based. We had cattle outside in dirt and mud most of the time, it seemed like, and kind of convinced our performance is not what it needed to be, and looked at the buildings, putting the cattle under roof, and thought that was a good fit for us. As feed prices go up and beef prices go up accordingly, feed efficiency was one of the things we really looked at, and rate of gain obviously, and we thought a building was probably the way to go. We looked at all different types of buildings and what would fit us the best, and between hoops, covering the pens, or the alleyways that we had before on the dirt, or the larger monoslope building and wood frame in particular, and it looked like to us the best way to go was with a solid floor. Monoslope building was the best fit for us. One of the things when we were looking at whether we wanted to build a building or what just exactly one that we wanted to do was we compared it to buying a piece of land for relatively the same amount of money. And I guess the thought process that we had was that the farmland had maybe doubled or even tripled in price since, let's say, 2005. And the income producing off it had gone up as well, but the relative value, here was the building that was essentially the same, and it had gone up some, but essentially the same price, and yet the income generation had increased out of that building. And when we stepped back and looked at it, it made the building look like a pretty good decision. And I guess after doing this for a year in the building, I guess I feel that that's a pretty, I feel confident in saying that the income generation is definitely here. You know, the farmland obviously is worth more if you had it, but to go buy a piece of land today or build a building for the same cost it was 5 years ago, that steers me to think that the building was a pretty good purchase. In our decision-making process, we kind of went from the standpoint of what building we wanted to put up and gathered information performance-wise, kind of went with the monoslope was the way to go. You know, the next thing we had to decide is this right for us in our position, and at that point we brought a financial consultant that we'd used for a long time, 13-14 years, on a number of different projects and issues, and that was Mo Russell. Mo's known us for a long time. He kind of knows how we do business and what we're comfortable with, and we gave him the numbers, and he was very positive. Called me one night and said, "Hey, you really ought to, are you sure all this stuff is right?" And I said, "I think so." And so he had us pursue it, and we moved forward with the project, and here it is. One of the biggest things that we were looking at was on the performance side, and especially feed efficiency. And we wanted to get more pounds per beef per pound of feed. The beef's expensive, the feed's expensive. We wanted to maximize that as best we could. And our early indications that the cattle we've run through here, that we're at least $100 a head to the positive in feeding cattle under a roof, taking the weather out of the equation, always having the cattle dry, as opposed to being outside on dirt. Now those are our numbers, but I'm pretty comfortable in saying that. As we narrowed our choices down and kind of decided that the monoslope was the style, we looked at local builders, we looked at a couple national type companies, and we kept kind of coming back to the Summit building, or FBI at the time, and we liked the design. We liked the fact they had built a number of these buildings and they seemed to be exactly what we were looking for, and talked with the representative. We're comfortable working with him. He kind of understood what we wanted to do, and you know, we weren't in this to reinvent the wheel. We wanted something that was had some history behind it, had been proven, and these guys knew what they were doing, and we've been very happy with the whole process.